Yo, what's good, y'all? You Dub back here again, here in 2019. Let's get it, bringing y'all more new, fresh content. Now, I've talked about this and, alluded to really in a few videos about me being a striker rather than a grappler. You know, you can ask, well, wonder, what do you really practice? It's a bit more complicated than that. Because I never had full blown official dedicated training in any one specific martial art. Not in boxing much. I'd rather in boxing, but lack of time because of work and otherwise was it did not permit me to fully train. Um, Learn a bit of Tang Sudo, learn some Taekwondo, bit of wrestling, bit of jujitsu, whole bunch of stuff. But the whole point of being, I've had experience in learning various forms of martial arts, and I'm steadily learning. I'm steadily gleaning knowledge, like with Aikido and different ones, Jeet Kune Do. The thing is, why am I naturally a striker, as well as why do I prefer striking over grappling? I can grapple. More so, my grapple defense is pretty good, pretty good. That's why you hear me bring up and emphasize about Conor McGregor's takedown defense. He's a striker. He's not a grappler. Everybody, they think, oh, everybody's just supposed to get in mount position and whatever. No, you do to where you're necessary. It's part of the reason why DC lost against Stipe is he should have focused on his wrestling. Okay, instead of trying to be a striker, he's not a striker, bro. He can, but he's not. And see, a lot of the best realize what the capacities they bring to the table. Right? You look back at old Smoking Joe Frazier, right? Smoking Joe, did he try to do what he wasn't about? No, he didn't try to outbox. He didn't do that. Muhammad Ali, did you see Muhammad Ali just try to get in slugfest all the time? No, you didn't. No, no, you didn't see that. You can go through all the list. Julio Cesar Chavez knew what he was. He was an infighter, and that's what he did. Khabib Nurmagomedov knows what he is. Holly Holmes knows who she is. See what I'm saying? I could go through plenty of folk. They know what they are. Right? Striking. Number one, everything begins standing up. Everything in a fight always begins standing up. That's just facts. You don't start on the ground. Okay. Now, I did a video about the differences in the philosophies and the psychologies of striking versus grappling. So some of this might be a little bit rehashed. But anyways, everything starts standing up. When it comes to grappling, everything goes to the ground. Now, one of the advantages that striking gives is multiple opponents. Grappling, you can get weighed down, chained down by a singular opponent, a singular entity. Okay. When it comes to me with the martial arts, is I'm typically defensive. I'm not trying to engage in an aggressive, offensive manner. God, with striking, you have the ability to control what you want to do. You can control your aggression. Now you can do that with grappling. I'm not saying you don't control your aggression with grappling. And in fact, grappling martial arts like Aikido are beautiful for that. For those who are pacifists, I've said that in the past, in another video. Okay. I think the top, what was it? Oh, 10 types of combatants. I talked about that for pacifists. If you want to be a pacifist, you should choose Aikido more than, let's say, a striking martial art like Muay Thai, but I also brought in pancration, which is a hybrid martial art, right? The thing about it with striking is I can choose to throw a punch. I've done this a number of times, right? I've thrown a couple punches just to test them. Didn't even hit them. It was just to test what they were about. And normally I just laugh them off. I'm like, yo, you ain't about this life. When they had no reaction to my speed, zero. And it kind of showed them like, oh, this dude's business. Or I'll stance up. When it comes to grappling stances are everything, okay? If I start to bounce or if I start to showcase different stuff with moving, a lot of guys, it throws them off because it's like, oh, he's an actual fighter. He can actually square up. See what I'm saying? For grappling stances, you're more prepared to take the blows. It's less intimidating. I won't say threatening. It's less intimidating than the pose in certain kung fu, pose in certain boxing stances, pose in certain karate stances, taekwondo and such. When it comes to your tools, okay, you can control the power of your blows. You don't also have to get inside. Sometimes I just want to keep someone away with a quick. See that? Can't even see it, can you? That's me. Actually, I'm literally doing this. For those you don't know, I'm doing this. Camera's barely catching it. See what I'm saying? I'm not even putting any force. No force. I'm like Kizaru and Borsellino. Admiral, Admiral Kizaru Borsellino in One Piece. Speed makes power. See what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali. Quick jab. Bop, 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 bop. Pepper you. Dust you, son. Floyd, not the strong, physically the strongest guy, but let me tell you, he's got more power in his shots than you anticipate. And of course, there's technique and such. So there's one of that. I can control my level of aggression. I can control my level of intimidation. I can control. I can. I'm more adequate to face off against um, multiple opponents. Another thing is I'm unorthodox. I'm unorthodox in everything I do. Okay, and that includes when it comes to fighting. I don't have any, that don't mean I have all these wild, terrible techniques. No, no. When I say unorthodox, for example, there are certain ways of stances with Taekwondo, right? There are certain ways to kick. There are certain ways to punch in any martial art that will teach you this. Now, yes, trainers, coaches, senseis are supposed to help you train in your proper technique. That don't mean I don't use proper technique. That just means I don't act in a way that you move. For example, beautiful example, current two beautiful examples. Of course, I bring up the notorious Conor McGregor. He's a beautiful example. John's Bones Jones doesn't often move in orthodox manners. The Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder, does not move orthodoxly. Lomachenko doesn't move orthodoxly. Manny Pacman Pacquiao often isn't orthodox in his movements. You can go plenty of dudes in the past. They were different in how they moved. And so when it comes to the striking, I can choose which form I want to do. With grappling, it's a hell of a lot more technical. It's like with me, why I'm a better painter than I am a drawer. Okay, with painting, you can be a hell of a lot more freelance, free flowing, abstract with it. I'm not a realist painter. Okay, with drawing, it's a lot more technical. It's a lot more mathematic with it. So that's the same thing with grappling. For example, grappling, you can have a white belt dislocate by accident a green belt or a black belt, a brown belt's arm because of accidental movement. You're not accidentally KOing a world class fighter, world class boxer. It's just not happening, bro. It's part of the reason why you see these guys. Oh, they're knockout percentage because the further you move up, the big fish is very difficult to get a knockout. All right, very very difficult. Which is also why it's madly impressive what Deontay Wilder's done in his career. Okay, so that's part of it. Another thing is a philosophy. Like I spoke about it before in that video that I mentioned, striking versus grappling. I'm not going to rehash it, but I'm going to talk about it. My philosophy when it comes to fighting is survival. Period. When you spar, it's a little bit different. When it's control, but when it comes to let's say street fighting, a real fight, it's pure survival. Sparring is a survival, but it's also testing the metal of both opponents, is seeing what works, what doesn't work. But when it comes to a real fight, it's survival, period. I'm thinking survival. Hopefully it doesn't need to get in that encounter, but one of the reasons I don't get into fights is because it's one either of us is going to go unconscious or somebody might end up dead. Fortunately, it has never come to that point with me in any of those regards. But that's my mentality. My mentality is primal. My mentality is survivalistic. My mentality is almost animalistic, but a controlled animalistic approach to it with a calculated, cold-blooded manner. You know, control. I've learned control over the years, and part of that control becomes from striking. It doesn't come from grappling because grappling, I'm looking for dominance. I'm not looking for dominance in a fight. I'm looking to survive, whether that's get the hell out of dodge, whether that's defend myself, whether that's to beat you into submission. That's why one of the reasons I prefer striking. Also, power and force. Grappling does not give me the insta boom to show somebody, oh, wake them the fuck up. It does not allow for that for me. Okay, see what I'm saying? Most guys do this sloppy grappling that they come at you with. right? They don't know how to grapple. They don't know how to wrestle. So they come at you with this mess. So I don't really have to full blown know how to grapple. I can doggone just defend myself naturally. I absorb. I've learned from watching wrestlers, pro wrestlers, in fact. Pro wrestlers I learned a lot from, believe it or not. You can learn a lot of positioning and stuff. Even if it's you want to say script and stuff. There are some very real applications in that from jujitsu and stuff. All you need to get in an actual encounter against most dudes, unless they're high level skill guys, is you just need basic defense. With grappling, you need basic defense, basic offense, basic how to get out of. And some of this I learned from experience because I had got put in chokes, rear naked chokes and stuff, and how to get out of it and stuff. It's easier to defend against grappling, believe it or not, than it is against a high class striker because now you're dealing with, when it comes to boxing, for example, rather than me, messing around in a wrestling match. With boxing, you're focused on, you could say, well, it's just his hands, but you don't know how he's going to deliver. A guy could present you a body blow, some, unorthodox, some straight, some, wild haymakers, some jabs and stuff. It's pretty straightforward when it comes to wrestling. You know they're going to come at you with a single leg takedown, a double leg takedown, something of that nature initially. It's pretty, from the side. You can keep it in front of you. When it comes to striking, you don't know, especially if he's adding in kicks or bows or knees and whatever. So there's that. Also, I would rather not go to the ground because you can hurt yourself more. So you can get hurt more from the ground than you can from the most of opponents. Also, someone like me can take hits. I can tank punches. I can eat punches. See what I'm saying? So why would I get involved in something where I no longer have the advantage of durability? I can get tired out more, even easier with grappling than I can with striking. You can control your stamina, especially, you can also, if you're able to get on your bike and move, you can tire your opponent out a hell of a lot easier without even really engaging than you can with grappling. See what I'm saying? Also, if I'm to face someone that has a weapon, I have a greater chance of defending myself with striking than I do grappling. Now, that doesn't mean grappling, I won't ever grapple. I may come into grapple because I have multiple skills in the regard, but I'm starting out with striking. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming at it at first with striking, or my approach is striking. Then I might throw in an Aikido move. See what I'm saying? To get the gun away or get the blade away, if I so need to do that. See, I have the option. When you come from a striking, you have the option. When you come just with grappling, you don't really have that option. I can go on more and more and break it down in another part or break down more parts about my whole thing with philosophy or my personal philosophy with striking on my own personal fighting style, which I might do. Um, but this is my, these are my reasons as to why I'm a striker over a grappler. I'm not opposed to grappling. In fact, part of the reason I rocks with MMA heavily is because it adds both aspects. But the thing is, I too often, watch these guys out here just laying on the ground. These guys out here just looking like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Striking, you don't really get that. You get some boring boxing matches, but boxing fights, but you don't get the boring like you do when two guys just laying there like doing absolutely no groundwork, and it's like, bro, what the fuck? You too tired? Why the hell did you go to the ground? This is stupid. She's like two guys hugging at that point. It's ridiculous. Unexpected one to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on this matter. If you're a grappler, come talk to me. Say, let me know if I'm mistaken in my perspective on grappling. I don't want to sound like a hater, but bruh, striking has all the advantages. It does. You can say, well, grapplers can beat striking. Yes, sure, if that grappler is high level, but most people ain't high level, so they're gonna get bodied by a striker. They're gonna get bodied by a striker, bro. Or what's going to happen is that grappler is probably some bodybuild type. He's been working out and he's been involved in MMA, and he's probably not going against a striker who's competent. I've never faced off against a guy who's a competent grappler who, wasn't concerned about my striking because it gets him out of the comfort zone. You see what I'm saying? As soon as they see you stand up, they're like, that's their first reaction is because they're not used to it. All they're used to is guys just grappling, 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 grappling. It's kind of what I said. And what was that video the other day I did? But anyway, it was I talk about you have to train and spar in other disciplines. You have to be ready. That's the beautiful thing about what striking gives you. Even if you're practicing taekwondo or karate, capoeira, boxing, muay thai, kickboxing, whatever you name it, right? Savate doesn't matter because you're gonna see different shit. Every opponent I ever sparred in boxing was completely different. So there's no consistency in boxing where the right way of no. You're gonna see different styles. Hell, I presented different things. I would go orthodox, southpaw, whatever the case may be. It's a bunch of mind games, right? You don't get used to a certain way. That's every striking martial art of any competent, any experienced combatant at all. And we're talking at an amateur level. We're not talking about at pro level. You look at pro level, the legends, the Hall of Famers, the champions have had such varied approaches. That's what striking gives you. It gives you variety. It gives you the Baskin Robbins effect. And as I always say, more tools in the toolbox is imperative. If you look throughout any profession, any field, all the greatest ones had the most tools in the toolbox. They may have utilized some, super effectively where they didn't have to use it, but they had other tools. They had the chisels, they had the hammers, they had the saws, the drills, and whatever the case may be, if necessary. Muhammad Ali was an outboxer, but he could infight. He could slug with the best of them. He could counterpunch. Don't get it twisted. He had all the tools in the toolbox. Sugar Ray Robinson was the same way. Sugar Ray Leonard was the same way. Iron Mike Tyson was the same way. Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. was the same way. Do I need to continue with my list? I don't think so. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.